and welcome to another installment of Metallic Reviews, the show where I take an honest look at the harder, heavier side of music and give it an honest rating. Today, we're going to be diving back into the world of oftentimes controversial thrash metal, or at the very least, thrash where the frontman is controversial. In any case, for the second week in a row, we're hard on guitar harmonics and squealing solos as we dive into Megadeth's new album, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, released September 2nd on Tradecraft, which is apparently an imprint of Universal Music Group. Yeah, this one was a little confusing on the label front. Either way, for the third straight week, a band that's been active for more than 2 decades has released new material. Again, we must ask ourselves, has time been kind or not? Let's find out. Now, for those of you who may not know, and that might be very few, Megadeth is part of the Big Four of thrash, along with Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax. Now, these guys have been around since 1983 and have now released a whopping 16 studio albums. 16! By comparison, Metallica have 11 albums, Slayer have 12, and Anthrax have 12. So Megadeth certainly really haven't kept their collective foot off the gas as far as output is concerned. However, there's now been a 6-year gap since their last album, Dystopia. During that time, they've taken on a new drummer in ex-Scarve and Soilwork skinsman Dirk Verberen, and they've lost a bass player in David Ellefson. So Testament Steve DiGiorgio filled in on bass for this album, and they have a new full-time bass player. All right, now that we have a little bit of context, let's go ahead and get into it. Anyone looking for Megadeth to reinvent the thrash metal wheel will probably be disappointed. But if you're looking for good, solid, well-written thrash with the caveat that some of the lyrics are kinda dumb, then you're in the right place. Now, this isn't going to be the barn burner of thrash metal that last week's Machine Head album was, but Megadeth have certainly kept pace with the rest of the genre. The album has all the hallmarks of a classic thrash release. It's got the solos, it's got the tonality, it's got the thunderous drumming, and in a bit of uniqueness to this particular band, it has Dave Mustaine offering his very familiar half-sung, half-spoken vocal delivery. On the positive side, the album feels like a Megadeth album. Anyone who's ever heard Killing Is My Business, or Peace Sells, or Rust in Peace, or any of those albums won't be in for any surprises. For me, that's a very good thing. Again, this is a band that has 16 albums, and while not all of them have been well accepted, they do have a very established sound, and it's good that they don't take this opportunity to fall away from that. There's no needless experimentation. There's no fumbling around with genre fusion or trying to be too progressive or whatever. This is thrash. Maybe not at its master of puppets / rain and blood finest, but thrash nonetheless. There are good performances all over this album. Mustaine and fellow guitarist Kiko Loureiro's twin guitar attack leads the way. Again, it's got that classic Megadeth tone. Solos over rhythmic rips bleed back into the original soundscapes almost seamlessly. There are a couple hiccups here and there, but overall the guitar work is really well done. DiGiorgio and Verberen give each song that little kick that it needs in the rhythm section. Nothing there is overbearing or overdone, and I have to applaud them for that because so many thrash albums just go off the rails with it, and that doesn't happen here. The second half of the album is definitely stronger than the first. Songs like Junkie, Killing Time, and Soldier On follow the tried and true thrash formula of thunderous verses with really well-written melodic choruses. The absolutely hilarious Mission to Mars has to be one of my favorite songs on the album, with its delightfully childish lyrics about wanting to be an astronaut. It's just a joy. There's also excellent lyrical nods to Rust in Peace and Peace Sells on there. The album then ends with absolute banger and lead single, We'll Be Back. As far as negatives are concerned, there aren't many, but one that does stand out to me lies in Mustaine's lyrics just overall. Some of them are just plain ridiculous and don't fit with the melodic progression of the song. This is especially true on the title track, which kind of lumbers along without any sense of direction. Sacrifice is another one that doesn't really know where it wants to go both musically and lyrically. In addition, at the end of Life in Hell, an otherwise good song leaves a lot to be desired. In other words, the first half of the album needed a bit of tweaking. All in all, though, Megadeth have released a solid thrash record. It's not going to set the world on fire, but there are good things here. The second half absolutely rocks, and the entirety feels like a Megadeth album. That's impressive, considering the changes the band have undergone in the interim, and having to dump bass tracks from one guy and re-record them with another guy. Impressive work for an impressive release. It gets a very strong 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching. Click like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified about weekly Metallic reviews. Next week, Metallic Reviews is hitting the road. Yes, I'm headed to the Blue Ridge Rock Fest in Alton, Virginia. Don't worry, though, because I'm taking the podcast mic with me, and I'll be throwing down a review of Bloodbath's new album, Survival of the Sickest. I'll also be uploading different clips from different days of Blue Ridge as the festival goes along. I hope you'll join me for it all. You've been watching Metallic Reviews, where I give honest ratings to honest music, and I will see y'all next time.